Exponents and powers. Sound tricky, right? Well, not anymore. In this video, I'll break down exponent rules in the simplest way possible. We'll cover key algebraic operations with exponents, go through some common mistakes, and even tackle some exam-style problems. And if you stay till the end, I'll share an easy trick that makes exponent calculations a breeze. Let's get started. The a here, we call it the exponent, and x, we call it the base. Example, if we have 2 to the power of 3, this is the exponent, and the 2 is the base. And we all know 2 to the power of 3 just means 2 times 2 times 2, which gives me 8. The other rule that we want you to remember is that x to the power of a times x to the power of b equals x to the power of a plus b. So what does that mean? So an example, if we have 3 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 3. You don't multiply the 3's on the bottom, you just write a 3. And what you do, you add the exponents. This is a, this is b, so you add them, you get 3 to the power of 5. And that ends up giving you 243. Any questions before I go on? Because again, I'm going to put you to the test soon. So if you have any questions, just ask me, please. And then if we have x to the a divided by x to the b, that gives me x to the power of a minus b. Remember, x to the a over x to the b, it means division, so it should give you that as well. So x to the power of a over x to the power of b just means x to the a divided by x to the b. So you get x to the a minus b. Example, 2 to the power of 7 divided by 2 to the power of 3 gives me 2 to the power of 4, because you go 7 minus 3, which is 4, and 2 to the power of 4 gives you 16. So this is 1, 2, 3. X to the power of a inside the brackets like this. And then you raise the whole thing to the power of b. This here gives you x to the power of a, b. When I write a, b besides one another here, that means I multiplied the a and b. So the exponent outside of the bracket gets multiplied into the exponent inside the brackets. Example, if I have 3 squared to the power of 4, that gives me 3 to the power of 8, because I have to go 4 times 2, which is 8. And 3 to the power of 8, you just do it in the calculator and you get an answer. These are the rules that you have to remember for exponents. So just give me all these answers in exponential form. And what do I mean by exponential form? I mean, if I have 33 to the power of 5 times 33 to the power of 7, I just write the answer as 33 to the power of 12. So answer all these 4, and then I'll give you more questions. Definitely, this 7 times 7 is going to be 7. You add the exponents. Never multiply the 7 and 7 and say 49 to the power of 11. That would be wrong. So it's just 7 to the power of 11. Now, some of you could argue, say, how come? Then you could just go back to basics. If you have 2 squared times 2 to the power of 3. Now you know 2 squared is 4 times 2 cubed, which is 8. When you multiply these two, you get 32. Okay. Now we know we could 2 to the power of 2 times 2 to the power of 3 gives me 2 to the power of 5, and 2 to the power of 5 gives me 32. So anybody who makes the mistake and write this as 4 to the 5, that's going to be a huge number. It's not going to be 32 at all. That's why you cannot do this. So here, most of you wrote, oh, no, you got it right, guys. So this is to the power of 6. I don't know why but most of you got it right. So some of you didn't see that there is a 1 in here. So you must know there's a 1 in here. And when you add the exponents, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. This, all I need you to write is 2 over 5 to the power of 20. If you did this and you wrote 2 to the power of 20 over 5 to the power of 20, that's fine as well. But I don't want you to go further than that. Okay. We'll go to the next batch of questions. So here, I noticed some of you, when you were answering these, you were making some bad mistakes. So let me take you back to the rules. When we multiply in variables, we add their exponents. Or multiplying anything, we add their exponents if they are the same base. If we're dividing, we subtract the exponents. But if we have an exponent outside of the brackets, we multiply it in the exponent inside the brackets. We don't add it. AB means A times B. A plus B means A plus B. So these two are different. Here, A plus B, here is A times B. So when I go back here, definitely the answer for the first one is just going to be x to the 10. You're adding 3 and 7. Some of you here, I saw somebody write x to the power of something, and some people just wrote negative x to the power of 9. Make sure that when the number is negative, to include it inside the bracket here, and then you write the exponent outside, which is 9. You're adding 8 and 1. Here you're dividing 2 to the 16 divided by 2 to the 10 is 2 to the 6, because 16 minus 10 is 6. Here I saw some student wrote m to the 9. No, that's not what I said. I said if you have an exponent outside of the brackets, you multiply it in the exponent inside the brackets. So this should be m to the 20. This here, I saw someone who raised this to the power of 4 in the calculator, find out what it is, and then wrote it to the power of 3. I don't want that. I want you to leave everything in exponential form. I don't want you to do any valuation. So this becomes negative 5 to the power of 12. You just multiply the 3 and the 4 and you get 12. So these are the answers that I'm expecting. I'll give you a few more. Now we have 24, x to the 24 divided by 4, x to the 8. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then x to the 24 divided by x to the 8, you just minus the exponents and you get x to the 16. And now you're multiplying 3a squared times 5a cubed. So 3 times 5 is 15. And it's going to be a to the 5 because you're adding the exponents. This one is a bit tricky, but it's the same thing almost. 8 times 4, these we call them a coefficient, so that's 32. And negative 7 to the power of 4 times negative 7 to the power of 3, that's going to be negative 7 to the power of 7. And now here you want to multiply the tops together, and you're going to get x to the 18 since you're adding the exponents, and you do the same thing to the bottom. You multiply x to the 3 times x to the 7, you get x to the 10. Now you're dividing, so you minus the exponents, and you're going to get x to the 8. Okay, so let's go through these. And you guys could check your answers and see if you got it right or wrong. If you got it wrong and you don't understand where you went wrong, you should ask. So here, negative 32 divided by negative 8 first. That gives me 4. And then x to the 8 divided by x to the 4, that gives me x to the 4. All right, so here, this one I thought might catch people here. So let me just make sure that you understand this 4 has a 1 on top. Any number that you don't write an exponent on, it has a 1 on top. And we said when we have an exponent outside of the brackets, we multiply it into the exponents inside the brackets. So this becomes 4 squared, because 2 times 1 is 2. And then 2 times 5 is 10, so 4 squared x to the 10. And then you should simplify the 4 squared to 16 x to the 10. How about here? Again, this negative 2 has a 1 on top. So we're going to distribute the exponent everywhere here. So it is going to be negative 2 to the power of 3, because 3 times 1 here is 3. And x cubed, so the 3 times 3 there gives you x to the 9. And y squared, 2 times 3 is y to the 6. negative 2 cubed gives you negative 8 because that's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. X to the 9, y to the 6. That's your final answer. How about the last one here? The last one is you multiply tops, you get negative 40 m to the 11 over 10 m to the 11. Negative 40 divided by 10 gives you negative 4 m to the 11 divided by m to the 11. That cancels out. You don't have any m's anymore. There's no m. So again, everybody knows how to multiply negative 9 times negative 8, which is 72. And a to the 7 times a to the 9, we said when you multiply in variables, you add their exponents. And then you have this on the bottom, negative 36, a to the 15. Now, fractions mean dividing. 72 divided by negative 36 is negative 2. A to the 16 divided by a to the 15 is a to the power of 1. When it's to the power of 1, you don't even have to write the 1. Now, how about here? Here, this is going to become 2 cubed, because remember I said there's a 1 on the numbers right here. So you multiply the exponent n, and you get x to the 15 times. Now 2 to the 1, you have a square. 2 times 1 here is a 2, so this becomes 2 squared. Sorry, I said here is 2 to the 3, sorry. And x to the 12. So again, 3 times 1, that's how I get 2 to the power of 3. And x to the 15, 3 times 5. 2 to the 1 here, 2 times 1, the exponents, you multiply them, you get 2 squared, and then x to the 12. And we still have the 2x to the 22 here. Now, 2 cubed is 8. X to the 15 times 2 squared is 4. X to the 12 over 2x to the 22. Now 8 times 4 is 32. X to the 15 times x to the 12 is x to the 27 over 2 x to the 22, which gives me 32 divided by 2 is 16. X to the 27 divided by x to the 22 is x to the 5. Now you've got all the exponent laws in your math toolkit. Remember, practice is key. So try out some problems and test your skills. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more math tips and lessons. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help. See you in the next lesson.